Good evening, Viking Nation, and welcome to tonight's senior night contest between your Niles North Vikings and the Vernon Hills Cougars. My name is Anthony Bramley.
And I am Jacob Ornstein.
And this is going to be quite the game. Both sides pumped up on this senior night, especially our Viking volleyball players. We have 7 fantastic seniors who've dedicated 4 years to this program, and we are celebrating them tonight. So I'm ready to have a blast, Jacob. How about you?
Oh, certainly, Anthony. You know, these seniors, they put a lot of hard work into this program, and I think they're going to put it all out on the floor tonight against a CSL conference rival, and it should be a really fun matchup.
Certainly, and we apologize for not being able to show the senior night, ceremony. We were having a technical issue, but we will have a video out with the recording for all of you Viking fans at home who want to make sure the team is honored right. We're going to meet the Cougars now. Well, you heard it. It is time to meet your Niles North Vikings. Number 3, senior Sophie Putz. Number 5, Jaya Turner. Number 7, senior Deva Chiva. Number 10, Lauren Navarrete. Number 11, Elda Skeet. Number 12, Aaliyah Struthers. And now the starters. Number 0, senior Anaya de los Santos. Number 1, senior Savannah Thomas. Number 2, senior Kristen Tang. Number 9, Maya Schlanda. Number 19, senior Mariah Edie. Number 21, Sophia Campos. And the libero, number 13, senior Amaya Kang. Vikings are coached by Terry Vanderjute and assisted by Zachary Sin. Also got Andre Shaw and Alan Tom down there supporting our program. Got our IHSA officials in the house as well. And I believe it is now time for our national anthem presented by Chorale, the top vocal group here at Niles North High School, directed by Mr. Dahan. We're going to head down there now. I mean, if that doesn't make you want to stand up, salute that flag, I don't know what will, Jacob.
Man, they sounded angelic. Can they sing like every national anthem?
Hey, I like the variety we got here, but yeah, Corral doing a great job down there, bringing the patriotism here at the senior night. The two teams will now meet on the court. High fives all around, or low fives, medium fives going everywhere, and you know the energy is in the building tonight. We got a pretty stacked Niles North supporter section. Vernon Hills not making the drive down I-94 as much, but Vikings coming out strong.
Yeah, it's nice to see the Vikings have this much support on senior night. I mean, for how much work all these seniors have put into the program, it is nice that this much support is showing that it has paid off. And it's nice to see that they get to play in front of an amazing crowd tonight.
Yeah, you can tell our Viking community values student athletics here and our Niles North girls varsity volleyball team. We're going to get all of our rotations set up here. And, I mean, this is going to be a great one. Two CSL rivals coming back at it again here at Niles North. Plus the pressure and excitement out of senior night. I mean, it's going to make for a good one here. So let's see. Still working on the Viking rotation down there. We got the IHSA officials. And we're, of course, going to have our signature announcement about them later on. But in the meantime, they're going to head over to the Vernon side.
And I will have my signature tagline at the end, too.
Lots of great stuff going on at Viking Media. We got signature taglines. We've also got a broadcast coming up this Friday. Not on nnvikings.com like usual. It's going to be on Marquee Sports Network. That's right, your Chicagoland provider for the Chicago Cubs and Chicago Sky will be carrying our game. We'll talk more about that later. First off, we got a Cougar serve into the net, and the Vikings off of pure aura will start us off strong.
May have been some pregame jitters there, but just kind of serves it right into the net. Just not a good move early on.
Hey, I'm not opposed, Jacob. Let's see Mariah Edie's response. Very low on the net and gets over. We're going to see a set back to outside and tipped. Picked up and set by Tang. And it's going to be a great tip ball by Sofia Campos to get two for the Vikings.
Yeah, a little miscommunication, I think, going on there in the Vernon Hills front. They just can't quite track the ball. They couldn't get that connection, and you need those connections in a game like this.
Yeah, and even when they try to save it with the tip ball, it's a little rough, a little wonky, and doesn't work out all the way. Under some senior pressure, Edie doesn't get it over. The Cougars are going to side out.
Yeah, that's not like Edie. She normally gets it pretty good and over the net. Just, again, maybe some pregame jitters.
Certainly. Let's hope it doesn't continue. Savannah Thomas going to hit on the outside, and they say no block, hit the tape. Cougars will tie up early on, 2-2. Their number 8 will come back to serve. And shanked by number 10, Laura Navarrete. And oh my goodness, they almost knocked over the cupcakes.
Not the cupcakes. You know, we were talking about this it's pre-game a little bit. Bad ball ricochets, hits the cupcakes. Just overall, not good communication kind of towards that back court for the Vikings.
Yeah, that's one spot where you don't want to mess up. Great vision by Amaya Kang. Letting the ball go out and giving the Vikings a point. She'll earn her serve here. And she's going to bring it in from the far side. It's a good one. Picked up by the lib, and it's going to be a bump set to the back. Maishalana as the decoy, and Thomas getting stopped. Kristen Tang getting stopped, too, on the right side. This Cougars defense is looking tough on the net.
I mean, they just absolutely lifted off and denied. Absolute brick wall play there by number 22, number 19 for Vernon Hills.
Yeah, Vernon Hills coming out strong early on. Here's the serve from number 2. A little miscommunication between Thomas and Navarrete. It'll be Thomas the free ball over. Now the outside tip comes right into the donut, the one spot on the court, or the danger zone if you're not hungry like me. Vikings need to cover closer up. They're going to get another serve here. It gets picked up by Navarrete. Great ball from right side by Tang. And the Cougars are going to try to tip the middle, but Shalanda is there. They do free ball over, and we now see another right side tip out of Tang. Outside attack now from the Cougars. Comes off of Shalanda's hand. They'll get another chance. Picked up by Kang beautifully, and now Thomas with a chance to put it down. Gets picked up by the Cougars. And a good roll shot to Navarrete. Ground dump. And hit over by Kristen Tang, tied up at 4.
Well, how about that rally, Anthony? Just really getting everybody work here. You know, something I noticed a lot with Vernon Hills is they were able to make a lot out of tricky situations. You know, watching the JV game, I saw their JV kind of be put in those situations too, and they were able to make things happen too. So it's interesting to see at the varsity level, they're kind of translating that on over.
Definitely. We'll see what goes on here, though. We got right side attack from Jaya Turner. Is there a touch? No. Cougar ball. But going back to that point, it was also a great display of the back row defense by the Vikings that, you know, Amaya Kang has run for the past 4 years as a senior. One of the strongest areas of play for the Vikings. Be Thomas to pick up the serve. And free ball over by senior Sophie Putz. Gets a kill off of it. Oh, my goodness. And we're going to correct the score. Vikings with 5, Cougars with 6.
She made it look easy, Anthony. Just able to get her full forearms extended and able to just perfectly carry it over the net. Just a great play by Putz.
Yeah, textbook form, and definitely listening to her coaches. Also a factor in that the Cougars, a little miscommunication on the receive. Not sure what's going on there, but certainly unlike them. It'll be number 1, the senior Savannah Thomas to serve. Gets picked up by the lib and goes off with a light. Don't tell buildings and grounds. Shalanda to tip back over immediately. And the back row set to attack. Sophie Putz put in an awkward situation and just can't get past the antenna. It'll be Cougar point. The Cougars lib up to serve and goes right out of bounds. Great arm, but a little bit too much on it. Now tied at 7.
Yeah, just a little too much mustard on that. I mean, you love the energy, you love the power, but you got to be careful in those situations.
Yeah, and I'm loving the food analogies here. You know, now we got mustard. I think it's, well, no one cares about the food when we got an ace. I mean, that one will feed generations, as they say. But, the underclass players on this team have done a great job of honoring the seniors. They've got some candy in their bags. I was fortunate enough to receive a bag as a sort of quasi-manager for the team, and, you know, definitely tasting good. I think it's just on everyone's mind tonight.
And I was lucky enough to steal the Whoppers you had.
It'll be Cougars ball after it comes off of the Viking net. We saw number 21, Sophia Campos, try to go down for it. Obviously not usually within her skill set, but great attention to just go right down. Here's the serve from the Cougars, number 9. Off the tape and picked up by senior Devichiva, perfectly placed. And it sets Campos up for a big one. Vikings up 1.
Absolutely nasty stuff by Campos. She was able to target it perfectly. Almost went off the Vernon Hill players. I couldn't tell if it was her pinky or her thumb. Either way, it ricocheted the perfect angle and just dropped nobody around.
And it would not have been possible without the great pickup by Devichiva. One of her, you know, she's not always on the court, but when she is, she definitely makes a big difference for the Viking team. Ball goes out of bounds, and it will become Cougar ball yet again. Here's the serve. Looked like it might have been going up, but picked up by Edie. It'll be Tang to hit on the outside. Now the outside attack comes from the Cougars, gets through the block, and that ball is still alive. Great spot trying to get it over, but the Lib picks it up, and we now got a pipe ball out of the Cougars into the net. Vikings first to double digits.
Yeah, and that Viking point is proof of why you got to work through the whistle. Just able to make a sticky situation into something special. Just a great job and great awareness by the Vikings.
Yeah, and also great communication just between both to make sure they're not hitting toward each other. You know, that's a complication sometimes at the high school level. Tip ball's picked up by Niles de los Santos in the donut, so to speak, that we were referring to earlier. Cougars will get to respond with a tip again in the same area. De los Santos to Campos goes, and she has, she's hungry for blood of the JV team, it looks like.
Yeah, she had a lot of power onto that. You know, it brings me back to when me and you last year were watching the boys in Leighton Bureau with that nasty spike. But overall, it's just angled out of bounds. She couldn't quite get it right.
Yeah, he was a senior last year too. Just a big theme here tonight. Cougars set in the right side, and it comes off of Campos' hands. Great block by her. We're going to see it on the outside too. Also off of Campos. That'll be Viking point. And, I mean, it goes without saying Campos is invaluable at the net for the Vikings. Her height and her skill, you know, bringing a lot to the team, and it showed there. Gets overpassed by the Cougars, and the Vikings got to hit it right back. Now a chance for 3 touches. Those last 2 coming as a double on Niles de los Santos. Now tied up at 11.
And here we go. The Vikings are starting to capitalize a little more on these Vernon Hills errors. Just a great job of being aware of that, and they are living up to the moment.
Certainly. Here's Schlanda at middle. And comes off of Amaya Kang, and the Cougar ball. Their number 2 will continue to serve. Gets picked up by Navarrete and set to Kristen Tang, a little bit hitting rather across her body, and that's not going to give her enough power.
And right into the net too. That seems to be a growing concern between both teams. It's the second time the Vikings have hit the net, and Vernon Hills, they started off the game with hitting the net. So this could be an issue going throughout this game.
Well, let's see. Here's the bump set, and great out-of-system hit by the Cougars, giving them the point. Looks like VJ could be calling her first timeout, and there it is. Vikings are the first, down 3. Jacob, what's going on down there?
I mean, overall, I think VJ is telling the girls that they are doing a lot of good things right. Problem is, they got to be a little more in sync. They got to have better connections. I mean, it's there. The team has that bond. I mean, you know, I've talked to multiple girls volleyball players, and they talk about how VJ has built such a strong bond with them through just team bonding activities. So she knows the bond is there, but just certain things need to happen a little more. I mean, for example, that last play we saw Niles de los Santos. She dove for the ball. She couldn't quite get it up though, which is timing issue. She was trying to get it up to Savannah Thomas to make that connection. So that connection's just got to be better. It's got to be quicker. It's got to be more tight. And I think that's what VJ is going to try to emphasize more there, more tight connections.
Yeah, but you've mentioned it. The effort here has been admirable. And, you know, when the Vikings give it their all, use 100% capacity, they do great things. That usually happens all in the first set. And, you know, throughout the season, we've seen it kind of wane in the second. But, you know, the last game that we broadcast, they actually came back in the second up 29-27 and took that game. So let's see what happens here with that prolonged effort. Ball barely out of bounds, and the Cougars will open out of the timeout with a point. Their number 2 will serve. Gets picked up by Laura Navarrete. Now set right side, and great ball by Kristen Tang. The Cougars scrambling a little, but they get it back over. That cross shot goes out of bounds, and the Vikings are back in control.
And great awareness by Nia De Los Santos. She saw that ball was going out, and she sounded off. Out. Just great communication throughout the team.
Certainly, Jacob. Definitely been a theme here tonight and a growth point throughout the season. You know, that was one of the things we were talking about most, how they weren't communicating all that well at the beginning of the season. Now it's working well here. Kristen Tang will go back to serve after the Vikings don't even get a chance to get it back. Here's Tang. It's a bit softer, but hits the ground. Oh my goodness, ace.
How about another ace for the Vikings? Just perfectly placed by Christian Tang, and just couldn't get number 2 on Vernon Hills to really sprawl on it the way she should have.
And how about that for your senior night? Great job on the serve by Tang. Let's see if she can continue. That one's picked up by the Cougars and gets sent too far back, and the Vikings are now tied it at 15.
And here we go. The Vikings are starting to pick up speed. They're picking up the momentum. They're finding better connections. That, I think, is what they talked a lot about in the timeout, and I think they're really improving on it as the game goes on.
Yeah, now we just have to see how they continue that work. Here's the outside attack, or tip rather, but right off the block, and that'll be Cougar point.
Yeah, they call it tight here, but a great call by some of our IHSA officials. Say, Anthony, aren't there a shortage?
There is a shortage of officials in the state of Illinois. So if you are looking to stay active, stay involved in your community, and make a little bit of money while you're at it, please consider applying to be an IHSA official at ihsa.org. During the promo, we see the Vikings tied at 16. Oh, we got to hear the catchphrase, Jacob.
Yes. If you don't think the calls are right, you got to don the stripes or blue collared shirts.
Yeah, don the darkish turquoise on it, maybe cyan. Any of you guys out there know what it is?
I don't know. It's a blue.
Well, it's also a great serve and even better dump on the net by the Cougars. Tricky plays, earning points for Vernon Hills. It'll be the libero, number 4, going to serve for the Vernon Hills Cougars. Goes a bit long, but picked up by Edie, and bump set to Sophie Putz on the right side. Goes out of bounds, though, and the Cougars have 18.
You know, I think she had the right idea. She had great contact on it, but I think she just miscalculated a little too much. Just a little too much power there. She didn't quite get up there, but overall, she's bringing the emphasis on that.
Yeah, great arm by her. Shout out to our strength and conditioning program here at Niles North. Picked up by Edie again off the serve. Another bump set, and now it's a Jaya Turner on the right side. Great deflection off the block, giving the Cougars a chance here. Outside attack is good. Cougars get another, this time on number 7, Deva Chiva, and she's just not pushing out from her legs, not low enough and not ready. I mean, she did get down there eventually, but just not snappy enough. And obviously that's a hard adjustment to make against a tough Cougars team. Let's see, now it's Edie on the outside going out of bounds and no touch off the block. Cougars looking for 5 more, and there's the other timeout this set by the Vikings. You know, Jacob, what do they have to key in on now?
You know, I think one of the main things VJ wants the girls to key on is just being able to just capitalize on momentum they are building. I mean, time and time again throughout the set, they have tied it up. They have found momentum. They were consistently getting points, but it seems to be once they have a tie, it just seems Vernon Hills comes right back up and puts them in another deficit. So I think VJ is just telling them that, okay, let's do this again, and let's keep it going. Let's keep this momentum going. That's going to be the key to the Vikings for the set and for the game.
Yeah, keeping up that energy and momentum. You know, Jacob, you almost got me in a bite on the chocolate bar again, provided by our underclass. Sorry, trying to get my Hershey's all the way down. Our underclass student athletes. So again, shout out to the 6 other players on this team who worked so hard to put this night together. You can't really see it in our shot right now, but we've got banners done by manager Edie Lubin. We also got, of course, the official senior profiles of the Vikings up here on our east balcony where we are shooting from. And we also have a little photo shoot area and some cupcakes down there that I'm ready to get into. Amaya King with a good one, and Edie to send it over. Now, slide attack picked up by Tang. Vikings do scramble to get it over, and the Cougars are going to take notice. They bring big energy, and Jaya Turner. That ball on the outside gets through Turner's block, and she kind of gives up on it, kind of the opposite of what we saw earlier.
Yeah, she just kind of misread the block there. She had the right idea, but just she gave up. She didn't play through the whistle, and that's one of the main things you got to do in a game like this, just play through the whistle.
Certainly. Oh, my goodness. Maya Schlanda with a big one. She'll also get to pick the ball up, and it goes to Edie on the outside. Gets through. And it is Viking ball yet again. It's still down 4 at 17.
Well, how about that for a little bit of a jolt of energy? Just a great play by the Vikings.
Yeah, you can feel that jolt of energy through the crowd, too. I heard a shout or screech, however you would call it, coming from, I believe, Edie's sister. And unfortunate way to end that energy. Service error gives the Cougars 22. Now just 3 away from closing the set, Jacob.
That darn net got in the way again. That's been a bit of a theme now. It's starting to add up.
Yeah, that can be nerves a lot of the time. And we see it now from the Cougars. Vikings now with 18. It looks like you're keeping track in your fingers. I mean, how many service errors into the net have we had?
I got about 3, I believe.
Yeah, that's 3 too many for any varsity high school coach. But let's see how Anaya de los Santos responds to the serving pressure. That's a good one. Goes into the lib and gets set to middle. That play is going to end with a call on the net. Will remain Cougars ball. Now just 2 away from ending this one. Their number 5 is serving now. And that's a good ball picked up by King. And it's set to Campos. Great double block. And that ball hits the hardwood. Set point here, Jacob. What's going on?
I mean, I think the Vikings are just worried about surviving right now. You know, it's something we saw a little bit in the last game we broadcasted with their game against Maine West. They were able to get a rally going. Let's see if they can do the same.
Yeah, well, let's see it. There's Edie bringing the momentum back toward Niles North. And that'll bring up subs in both rotations. They have Achieva coming out. And another senior, Savannah Thomas. And it'll be, oh my goodness, senior Mariah Edie to serve. She opened this game serving into the net. Let's see how she corrects. And it'll be Cougars to take the set after another service error. Your final for set number 1, your Niles North Vikings with 19 and the Cougars with 25. We're going to take a quick break, and we will be right back with some more Viking action. It looks like we will have some players from our feeder schools here at Niles North. That would be Old Orchard, McCracken, East Prairie, and Golf. Coming down here now with, I believe, a serving challenge. Whoever hits a T-shirt earns that T-shirt. And I'll tell you, I own that T-shirt that they got down there. In October, we were pink, and let me tell you, it's comfortable, Jacob.
Where can I get one?
You know, we're not selling the merch right now, but hey, next season you want to support. Our girls are always fundraising. Anyway, we will leave you with the challenge here and take a quick intermission. See you in a few.
And welcome back to the main gym, also known as the Loudtown Lawler, for girls volleyball senior night action. I'm Jacob Bornstein. Anthony Bramley will be joining me shortly. He had to step out real quick, but for now, y'all got me, and I hope y'all enjoy me. Out of the first set, the Vikings dropped it to the Cougars, 19-25, and they are looking to bounce back. Some volleyball action coming up shortly. Back to serve for the Vikings, number 2, Christian Tang. And the service by Tang. And how about that ace for Tang? Put one on the board for the Vikings. It's her second ace tonight. Logan to recreate the magic. Tang back to serve again. Gets it up. Popped up by the Cougars. Says it to the front. Tang pops it up. And blocked by the Cougars. That's been a theme for them. Been very dominant this past set with trying to, up front, just trying to get the ball over, trying to get blocks where they can. Here's the Cougars with the service. Popped up. Thomas gets it over to number 5. Cougars playing with it. And lazy hand by Campos gets it over. Kang pops it up. Gets it to Tang, and that's a point for the Vikings. And joining me back at the booth, none other than the man, the myth, the legend, Anthony Bramley.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Jacob. You got Savannah Thomas coming back for the Vikings. Here's Thomas into the net, and that complication is coming back for the Vikings in set number 2.
Yeah, that was a big thing that they ran into the last set. They kept hitting into the net a lot. It is a larger crowd tonight, potentially a little bit intimidating for these girls, but overall, I don't think it's going to let them define them. I think they're going to make something magic happen.
Well, only one way to see. And oh my goodness, looked like it would have been a block or tip over rather by Maya Shlanda. Instead gets the net call on her. Cougars now with 3. Ball's picked up by Kang. Bump set and free ball over by Shlanda. Cougars are going to keep it in bounds and respond with an outside attack into the net. Viking point. Here's Kang again.
Cougars pop it up. Gets it just over to Tang. To Kang. And the slight tap of the Vikings, and down go the Cougars. Put another one on the board for the Vikings. 4-3 is our score right now. Vernon Hills still up a set. Here's Kang back to serve. And just out there by Kang. Could not make an ace happen. Tied at 4. Number 20 for the Cougars, back to serve, and into the net. You thought it gave the Vikings trouble. How about the Cougars there, running into that net? 5-4, the score. Naya de los Santos is back to serve for the Vikings. Santos just clears the net. Big spike by Vernon Hills. Santos pops it up to Thomas. And just a little too much power there. Give the point to the Cougars. That'll tie it up at 5. The libero, number 4 for the Cougars, back to serve. And serves it out of bounds. Just a little too much mustard. Put another one on the board for the Vikings. Just clears the net there. Sends the Cougars to the floor. Pops it up. Over to Santos. De Los Santos, that is. To Edie. And pinballing around the Vikings front net. And right into the net it goes. That's a point for your Niles North Vikings. Just goes out the net, and that's going to give the Vikings a 7-5 lead here in the second set. Pops up. Over to the Cougars, number 19. Pops it up again. Edie gets a hand on it. Blocked by Putz. Over to Kang. Putz. It's close. They're going to give it to the Vikings. Beautiful placement by Sophie Putz. That's going to give the Vikings an 8-6 lead. And the Vikings weren't able to operate with the lead much in the first set. Now able to work with something. Pops it up. And that's going to go ricocheting out of bounds. Vernon Hills parents section, watch out for that one. 9-5, your score here. And a timeout call by Vernon Hills, trying to reassess some things. The net's starting to run into, the net that is going to be a bit of an issue for Vernon Hills, it seems. It's been an interesting theme throughout this game. And looking at the Vikings huddle, it's a lot more smiles now as they find themselves with a lot more momentum. And while we're at a timeout, take a special second to shout out a couple of Viking football players. I see Ali Kuros and Nick Socorro. I also see Peter Bunis in attendance. Earlier I saw Adonis Williams. I also see Kelvin McCall here. They got a big game on Friday against the Vernon Hills Cougars that will be broadcasted on Marquee Sportsnet. You can catch me in the booth for that. It's going to be exciting, an amazing special presentation of Vikings football to come. But in the meantime, we're back with volleyball action here at the Loud House on Lawler. Number 2 on the Cougars. A lot of power on that. Over to Thomas. Gets the number 4 on the Cougars. And blocked by Puss, but it goes out of bounds. Give the points to Vernon Hills. So, some subs coming in for the Cougars after that point. 9-6 your score. Gets to Thomas. Over to Kang. Thomas. Hits it over to number 20 on the Cougars. And you gotta be kidding! They are gonna give it to Vernon Hills, but I am in disbelief on how she made that happen. An amazing play. Unfortunate that it goes out of bounds, but the officials say it does go. Santos pops it up to Putz. Over to number 20 on the Cougars. Gets it over to Kang. To De Los Santos. Thomas blocked by the Cougars front court. Right on top of her head. And the Cougars now shrink the deficit. 9-8 your score. The Cougars are back to serve. Number 9 will do the service. Over to Thomas. Thomas. And denied by the Cougar front court. It's been something the Cougars have been doing very well, just being able to block it up in the front court. Here's Edie, right into the net. She's been having a lot of trouble hitting it into the net tonight. And those struggles seem to carry into the second set. The Cougars take a lead now, 10-9 in the second set, as she gets it over to Kang, over to De Los Santos. And off a Cougar, put one on the board for the Vikings, tied at 10 all. And the Niles North JV volleyball team giving some motivational cheers to this varsity team. A jam-packed crowd here on senior night. You love to see it. Cougars playing with it, gets it over to Campos. Pops it up to Thomas. Confuses the Cougars, and that's gonna go out of bounds. Put another one on the board for the Vikings. Credit it to Sofia Campos. Here is Edie to serve. Clears the net. Cougars get it over. Getting low. The Vikings. Thomas gets it over to the Cougars. Big spike by the Cougars. And Vujicic could not quite get her forearms under it. And that's going to tie it 11 all. Cougars back to serve. Gets it to Vujicic. De Los Santos pops up to Thomas. And sends a Cougar to her knees, but she gets it up. We play on. Campos back to number 4 for the Cougars. And denied by Campos, but the Cougars still with it. And whistles blow. And the Cougars will get the point. 11-12 your score now. The Cougars back to serve number 5 to do it. And right into the net. Give that point right back to the Vikings. De Los Santos is gonna go to the bench. Tang in for her. Tang gets it over. Big spike by the Cougars, but denied by the Vikings front court. Denied again. How about a third time? No. Vujicic under it though. Thomas. And there it is! Sofia Campos getting a hand there. And the Vikings take another lead in the second set. They're still in it, ladies and gentlemen. Tang will go back to serve. Multiple service aces for her tonight. No ace though. Vernon Hills with it. Vujicic. Tang gets it. Be careful not to get under the net. Cougars with it, and Vujicic cannot quite dive under it. Give the point to the Cougars. Number 8 for the Cougars, back to serve. Gets it up to Thomas. Vujicic diving towards the crowd. An amazing effort there. Shows the hustle, but fortunately goes out of bounds off the bump. And Vikings down 1 here in the second set, fighting to stay alive. They dropped the first set to the Cougars. The Cougars win it all if they win this set. Over to Tang, to Thomas. And tried to be denied by the Cougars front wall, but Instead, it goes right on down. Thomas is back to serve. Thomas gets it up. And soft tap there by the Cougars. It sends the Vikings into a frenzy. Cougars point, 15-14. Number 19 coming in for the Cougars for number 9. Number 2 for the Cougars back to serve. Gets it over to Thomas. Light tap by the Vikings. Over to Thomas. Tang pops it up. Big spark by the Vikings. Cougars recover. Gets it up to Thomas. Over to Tang. Campos. Unfortunately runs into the net, and the Cougars will take a 2-point lead. (16-14) the score right now. Gets it over to Thomas, and a little bit of miscommunication there. And I'm going to welcome back to the Anthony Bramley.
Yes, I am back. I was just doing a little bit of research on both of these teams. Did you see what I had sent you? All right, well, hey, we have a great time to talk about it. You know, because this is a conference matchup, the Cougars have already played the Vikings over there in Vernon Hills, and they had won in 2 straight sets. So definitely trying to change the script here tonight. Vikings are still down by 2, or 3 rather. You know, hopefully they give you a little bit of a taste of what you'll be hearing on Marquee Sports Network this Friday. Jacob Orenstein in the booth with us for Viking Media football coverage. That's right, we've been afforded the opportunity to be a part of the Marquee Sports Network community showcase of area football teams in their media program, so we are very fortunate to be part of that.
Very much so. It will be an honor to call the final football game of the season on TV. And, you know, this means a lot to me. I'm trying to go into a career in sports broadcasting, and to be awarded this opportunity, it's amazing. I cannot wait for Friday.
Well, hey, there's no better experience than being able to call it on regional TV. So thanks again to Marquee Sports Network. We are back, though, with girls volleyball. Mai Shalanda on the outside gets picked up by Turner off the block. And she'll tip off the block. That's good for a point. The Vikings are back with the ball. It'll be number 13, senior Maya Kang, to go. We are correcting our timeout counter, which is why our score bug might look a little wonky right now. That's a good tip by the Cougars. And the attempted dig crosses out of bounds. Vernon Hills up 3 on this senior night. That'll be the Cougars, number 20 to go. And it goes long, but picked up by Shalanda. Kristen Tang not calling for help and not with enough gas to go all the way through.
Yeah, it was a hard play to make. She was trying to haul from the other side of the court, and she just couldn't quite make it, and you kind of see her give up towards the end. Just, I mean, great effort, but not able to capitalize.
Yeah, we're seeing some effort here, too. Again, not capitalizing on it, but a couple of Vikings running 30 feet back trying to keep that ball up and away from my cupcakes.
Looks like we got Niles North Athletic Director Brett Bildstein being the cupcake bouncer down there.
I mean, what? Just another duty to tack onto his list of duties. Great hit by the Vikings. I'll bring him to 16. Not sure if you can hear the cheer, but they say Jaya, Jaya, Jaya. Having a lot of fun as she comes off the court for rotation. Now to serve number 0, Naya de los Santos. Goes long and out of bounds. The Cougars within 4 points, and we could be seeing a timeout here from the Vikings at any moment. I do like the faith and trust that VJ is putting in her team. Here's the Cougars now. Picked up by Thomas and set. Right side to Maya Shalana. Gets through, but the Cougars try to keep that ball up. Does not work out for them, and we are in the same exact score situation as we were last set. The Cougars with 21 and the Vikings with the ball at 17.
And that ball was a mess. It ricocheted, hit one of our head judges, it looks like. You could see him trying to keep a straight face.
Yeah, and I couldn't keep a straight face. You saw my reaction there at one of the worst possible times. I mean, it's always a bad time to miss a serve like that, but no worse than here where you're down now 5 on senior night with your opponents having 3 more points to go. Let's see what the Cougars do with it. It's very low on the net. The Vikings scramble and Savannah Thomas to put it over, picked up by Vernon Hills, and they'll respond. Maya Shalana in the back row with a great ball from the ground. Cougars will respond in the back row on their own, and that will bring up 23.
Yeah, she was just able to nail that coffin corner. Just great placement by the ball.
Yeah, I think I missed and maybe, yeah, there we go. Timeout by the Vikings, yelling for it and gets it. Vikings in a bit of a tricky situation right now, to say the least. Their opponent, the Vernon Hills Cougars, 2 points away from shutting them out on senior night. How do the Vikings go from here, Jacob?
Well, I think the Vikings certainly need to rally right now, and we know they're capable of rally. In the last game we broadcasted against Maine West, they were able to rally. They were in a similar situation, and they came back. They won the second set. We played on, and they won it in 3. So I think if they can rally together, and it all starts with this next point. Get the next point. Keep getting points. Keep on going. Eventually you'll tie it, and eventually you'll take a lead. The Vikings got to get that rally going, though, and they better do it sooner rather than later.
Yeah, Vikings looking to keep up the energy and momentum as both programs really approach the court. LB Cougars to serve, up 23-17, just 2 points away from making a statement here at Niles North High School. Navarrete to pick it up, and a great bump set to Savannah Thomas. She'll over-rotate, and that ball goes out of bounds. Cougars now with set and match point, and I mean, anything can happen in high school ball, so let's see what goes on here. It'll be Thomas to pick up. She'll get to hit outside off the set, and the Vikings are going to keep this game alive, Jacob.
Here it is. Now get another one. That's the key. You got to keep going. You got to keep getting points. You got to make sure that Vernon Hills gets no momentum whatsoever, as they have all the momentum right now.
All the momentum for the Vikings indeed. It'll be Mariah Eady to go. It's a little soft. Get set to the middle. She tries to tip, and that's going to be a double. Great attempt to keep that ball going, but you weren't fooling anyone, Cougars.
I mean, she got a little excited. She thought she could end the game right there, but makes an error in the process. The Cougars, though, they still have a substantial lead.
Well, we're going to see how Eady and the Vikings respond. Getting kind of soft, and Cougars, oh my goodness, taking it out of the stands. The lip hits that ceiling support beam, and the Vikings now with 20. We could be seeing a miracle here tonight.
Well, I sure hope we see a miracle, but the Vikings right now, they're starting to get this rally going. They're starting to figure it out a little more, and they cannot let up. They got to keep their foot on the gas.
Yeah, we saw Mama Edie there, stressed out, supporting her daughter, and she gets a good serve. And just like that, that game will be over. Cougars solidify the win with a second set victory, 25-20. First set won 25-19. I mean, just what a great night. Despite the outcome for the Vikings, what a great night for all of our seniors and our program, Jacob.
Yeah, 100%. They have put in so much work into this program, and, you know, they got to do it in front of a very big crowd tonight. Bigger than what they normally draw, and that's nice to see. It's amazing to see our school community come together to support these seniors, and although they may not be walking out with the dub, they certainly put their all out on the court today and for years that they have put into this program.
Yeah, I mean, think about it, 4 years of effort, culminating in, a rocky but strong still, I think, and, supportive senior season for our 7 seniors here tonight. And so, I mean, it's just great to see. Jacob, any more thoughts on the volleyball program?
Overall, these seniors, they seem to have a really big impact on the underclassmen of this team. I saw during the senior night ceremony, a lot of the underclassmen, they were emotional, and it's clear that these seniors have had a big impact on them, and I think it speaks a lot to how well the program has done and how well the people within the program have treated other people within the program. I think that this program is in good hands, and it's amazing to see what will happen with it with the years to come.
Certainly, Jacob. Now, the next time you'll hear from us with this team will most likely be on 2 Mondays when they take on the regionals in the state series here at Niles North High School. We are hosting. They'll be playing against the Niles West Wolves, obviously a good matchup. So we'll see about the broadcasting rights for that, but if we don't see you then, we'll see you on Friday on Marquee Sports Network for our coverage of your Niles North Vikings football against the Vernon Hills Cougars. 2 struggling teams looking to get a late season win and, keep up the energy and momentum of their programs.
100%. It should be a very exciting matchup. I cannot wait.
Certainly. If you want to watch Marquee Sports Network, we are trying to pull it up right now. They're obviously online. Just search Marquee Sports Network, and I'm trying to get a channel number for you, but it's not complying right now. So, okay. Well, we got one of our Viking Media members here telling us it's channel 202 on Xfinity. I believe they're also on DirecTV in the 400s, but we'll have some more information for you on our Twitter, x.com/NN Viking Media. Jacob, any closing thoughts?
Not too much else. Can't wait to see you all Friday. Make sure you talk to your cable provider and tune into Marquee. It should be an exciting one.
All right. Well, from all of us here at Niles North Viking Media, I'm Anthony Bramley.
And I am Jacob Ornstein.
And we'll be signing off. Have a good one.